Hey guys, welcome to another review. Today we're taking a look at this awesome action figure. This is a vintage mint in package Bumblebee figure. And you can see this is a really cool package. It's got great colors going on here, good gradient. Really awesome art. Shows what the Bumblebee actually looks like there. This isn't him from the cartoon. This is just the genuine figure art. So I really dig that. And you get what the car looks like there. Really neat. And the back is what has the more fun stuff for me. Like, look at that. A whole battle scene. We got Grimlock down here. We got all the little Dinobots. Who's this here? I can't quite see. I'm seeing red. Maybe it's Ironhide. We got, is that Jetfire? Man, it's just so cool. And then here we go. The steps of transforming him. Pretty easy. It's like 3 steps. Because it's start here and then finish. So 1, 2, 3, right? It says 2 steps, I guess, but I don't know. Start seems like it would be included. Save for special Transformer premiums. Isn't that cool? And then it has a little file card on the side there. Really awesome packaging you can see down here, 1985. Just a genuinely nice piece. So I am going to be reviewing this figure, so we're going to carefully remove him from the packaging. That way we can kind of get to this figure, but I still want to preserve this packaging. So let's carefully just get to this guy here. There we go. That way I get to preserve that, and here he is. Look at this beautiful little figure. So he is a knockoff, actually. I may have been leading you guys wrong. A pretty good knockoff, too. Got him on Temu for, I think it was like $2 or something, using one of the discounts. Really good price, but normally they charge a little bit more. But yet, you know, the packaging is actually a lot nicer than the figure, too. I can feel the plastic on this is very light, flippy. Look at that. Does he have trademark date on him there? Takara, 1980, Japan to 84. Yeah, look at that. It almost, if you didn't really know what to look for, you could be fooled very well with this. So keeping him in package is potentially dangerous. End up selling it to someone who just has no idea what they're looking at. So something cool or weird about this is how it's kind of offset on the back. And I guess that's that there's no like overlap when these two parts close in. Yeah, the engineering on this, you know, is very dated. And you can even see, like, this is where his hands would be. There's not a hand there. It's just a nub. And if we compare this to, like, a more modern mini Bumblebee, look at that. My, how the years have changed you. This face here, too, that's just not a whole lot going on there. And very flat. I could see how kids would enjoy this, like back in the day, because you wouldn't have had any other Transformers necessarily to play around with. So you get some of these for your first Transformers. This is probably really neat. But since we have such like really well engineered, really cool ones nowadays, it's kind of hard to like look at this one and be like, oh yeah, that's a really cool figure. Because for me, it's like I would prefer this one. However, I understand how that original design has history, and some people see this as maybe even the definitive Bumblebee figure, which, you know, I understand. At the same time, I don't really agree. And you can see this silver plastic on the back there, and I don't own an original of this Bumblebee, so I can't say what's different necessarily, but I can tell you he's probably a lot cheaper plastic, so there's that. And I'm getting a hint that the paint is a bit different, and I think for his Autobot label here, you're supposed to be able to just use heat and or rub on it, and it would show the Autobot symbol, but we're not getting that. So that's another way to tell he's fake. This back plastic right at the head, that's another part where it just feels really cheap. There's all this like plastic hanging off, all these little lips and folds, weird stuff. But hey, he does have rubber tires, so that's pretty cool. It says what, Dunlop on it, and can't read that. That's so tiny. Does it also say Dunlop? Sure, why not? All right, so there's our little figure mode. Um, can, can, can I say that this is a good figure? Uh, no. Can I say that this is worth picking up at full price? Only if you're okay and a fan of knockoffs, maybe. But genuinely, do not get this as a placeholder for an original. I would think you should always go with the actual originals. The articulation on this guy, let's go over that real quick. Starting at the head, it's just this motion where it flaps down, and it seems like he doesn't quite clear that, which kind of a problem for the transformation. It's a little stuck. Not really a looking down motion, if you will. No side to side or anything like that. Shoulders, it's just a full rotation and then nothing past that, just spinning tires. And then we'll go down here. No hips, it's just a solid piece. No back and forth, really. You can kind of wiggle it outward. So there's that. I'm going to go back up a little. And then the feet kind of do move, but that's part of the transformation. Obviously, no ankle pivot. Yeah, you can hear there's a lot of like tightness here, some snapping and stuff. And I'm getting that feel that that's probably the cheap quality plastics. But still, it's not trash completely. Let's look at this transformation real quick. Let's see if that's pulled off pretty well. So, last thing, let's close these in. There you go. And this is a really cute little car. So this is, in my opinion, the better mode. Having him drive around like that. He's an adorable little chubby guy. His bot mode is so-so. For me, if I were a kid, maybe back in the 80s or so, I don't think I would have cared as much for these as definitely not like the Soundwave. Those would be the go-tos. Obviously, Optimus Prime. These little guys, I think these would go to your like little brother or whatever if they're jealous that you have some. These are more of like the little kiddie ones, in my opinion. And you can have him driving around with his head sticking out the back. It's as far as knockoffs go, it's decent enough to where I can see people being fooled by this very easily. And it drives around pretty well, And like I said, the packaging is kind of almost indiscernible from a original as far as I can tell. Because it even has the dates on it. It has all the stuff saying like Pawtucket. Just really, really interesting there. Obviously, paint details on this guy are very limited too. We literally just have, I think this is paint, the black on the windows. And then there's like a chrome paint on just these different areas. Which I don't know if the original had chrome for the back or if it was like a yellow piece. Like I said, I don't own one, so I can't quite say. Look at that, there's quite a reflection from that. Alright, so I think we can cut the review there. Let's do a little comparison side by side with another Bumblebee real quick. We got one of the Camaro modes from the movie. This guy's an easy transformation, so I can just toss them together and we can look at over the years. So personally, I kind of really dig the look of Bumblebee being a Volkswagen. It's so classic, it's so cutesy, and that kind of really fits the vibe. A Camaro is a little too badass, in my opinion. It's too cool, or it's a little too posturingly cool for Bumblebee. But that's kind of just how he is now. So this guy, we get a little square, little chubby Volkswagen, and this guy, we get this really sleek Camaro. Night and day, man. Night and day. But I do prefer the rubber tires on these guys. So this guy is going in my collection. He's going to sit on my shelf, and then if anyone asks, I'll be honest, he's a knockoff. But hey, you know what? This isn't terrible. If you can find this cheap enough, you can get it, but just keep in mind, be honest. Don't pretend you have an original. Even if you keep it in package and set them somewhere, just be honest. Alright guys, so let me know what you think. Would you pick this guy up? Maybe even for like its original price, which I think was like $30 or something. I would never pick it up for that much. Anything knockoff, I think you should spend 10 or less. And in extreme cases of like perfect knockoff, like a masterpiece, if you will, that's just almost identical, maybe spend 30 and down below that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next review. Adios.